Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Okay, we got the RCA ran for the backup camera, and I've actually got enough to hook up without using the extension, so we're going to move on. We're going to wire the harness with the Pioneer harness that plugs into the factory GM harness. We are going to solder these together here, but in the meantime, first thing you need to do is just twist everything together and tape it up to make sure everything's going to work, because you don't want to get everything soldered together and then have to pull it all apart because somebody at the factory screwed up and got wrong color going one way or the other. So we are going to just twist this stuff together real quick, just like it says, match the not necessarily the colors, but all these are labeled as to what they are, and match them up to this one, plug them in, and set the radio in there, go through the fade and balance, and make sure the memory works. And then we'll come back, and after I do that, we'll start twisting this stuff up. I got a few little toys we're gonna play with and show you, give a little review. It's pretty cool. I've used them a little bit, but I'm comfortable enough with them now to put them on camera. So here we go. Let me twist this up, and I'm going to be right back with you. We're back, and it's like 10 o'clock Monday night. It's cold, but this problem's bugging me. I've said not to solder or crimp connect or whatever your connection is. Don't make them permanent yet, and here's why. When I hooked the Pioneer radio up through the factory harness, powered up, remote worked, held memory, but there was no sound coming out of the speakers. So what we had to do, this thing does not have the Bose premium sound, but it did have a subwoofer in the back, factory subwoofer. So we had to bypass that amplifier. I didn't necessarily bypass it, and I'll show you what I did here. The factory radio had the main harness that goes in, and it also has this other little harness too. Looking at some wiring diagrams that I found online, basically what's happening is the pink wire that comes off of this secondary plug is the remote turn on for the factory amplifier. So what I did was I'm going to make a jumper to go from the pink wire to the remote up in this mess in here to the remote wire, which you see right there. And I wired that up, hooked it up, and it works just fine. So now we're going to make it permanent. But that just goes to show you, man, don't make all this stuff permanent. Test fit, test run everything before you solder it all in. So we'll have to get in the dash and actually make a solder connection here, and then we'll have to solder this wire as well onto, I'll make this wire a little bit longer, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more reach and it'll be good to go. So it works. The only issue with that really is we're not going to be using the amp out of the Pioneer radio. We'll use the factory amp, but I just turned it on. It sounds just fine. If you were, another option instead of doing all this is to run speaker wire from, when you change your speakers, run speaker wire up to the back of the radio. Or if you're going to be running an amplifier, you're going to be running RCA cables to wherever your amp is, and then speaker wire from there anyhow. As a factory replacement, you're not wanting to go through all that. That's a simple little fix in this particular vehicle. Silverados, Tahoes, Avalanches, Suburbans. I'm not sure about the cars, but for the trucks, this will definitely work. I can verify it. And so we'll get set up in the garage where it's a little bit warmer, solder all this up. All we got left to do is build the install kit for it, hook the green wire up to the reverse light switch so the camera works, and this job is done. So I'll see y'all in the garage in a minute. Okay, we're back in the garage in Suburbia Hill. And here we go. What I've got here is what's called helping hands for soldering these wires and whatnot together, and it's handy as hell. It's got two alligator clips on it that you can move around and adjust. It's got a magnifying lens on it that'll come up here. The magnifying lens throws me off, man. I could do it better without it. So we got our soldering iron, flux, solder, and shrink wrap right here. And basically what we're going to have to do now is combine 4 harnesses basically into 2 plugs. So most of the soldering is going to be done right here on the bench. I've got a couple connections to make in the truck, but we're going to show you this little guy here and try it out and see. We'll start off with just the power wire for the amplifier. I'm sorry, the power wire coming off of the harnesses. All the colors matched up on this metric kit between the Pioneer and the metric kit, plugged into the Chevrolet or the GM computer, and did awesomely. So we could just go color for color. And we've also got this bypass. Where you at? This bypass here that we're going to install instead of doing it ourselves. It'll just be a little bit cleaner. So here we go. And we've got this power wire and this power wire. We clip it into here. And then we can take this side here, shrink wrap. Goes on there. And here you go. And we're not going to sit here. I'm not going to have y'all watch me solder every wire up. That's boring. And yeah, nobody wants to see all that. So we'll do one here and get the power wire here put in, and then you can take this guy and there we go. It's put together right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's there, it's good. So get some flux on it here. Flux it up. Solder on the iron. Get a little pull going there. Let's tin it, stick it, and solder it. That's all you need right there. Done deal. And just that little bit. Yep, that's a good connection. That's all it takes, man. Slide the heat shrink over it. Slide that stuff up on there, and that's it, guys. There you go. And we could do this little clamp, man. It makes it so fast. Go through all these wires. The bypass kit came with some instructions. Very simple, 3 wires. You just tie them in with everything else as far as the ground to the remote and to the wiring harness on the Pioneer amps is light green. Hook it up to the dark green. We're probably going to cut 5 foot of this off where it's swimming with everything else. We'll put it all together and zip tie it all up nice and neat and put it in the truck, and moms will be jamming. So there you go. Find the wire in the truck, hook it up there, and for the remote reverse, which is on here, and we're good to go. So any questions, leave me a comment. Thanks, bye.